Well, Ted, we've got a family sedan and a small sports coupe this week.
That's right. One's brand new and the other one's kind of a rehash of an earlier model.
And in the case of the MX-3, it's going into a very competitive marketplace.
Well, that's true. When Tony and I tested the Nissan NX-2000 on an earlier show, we figured this was the car to beat. Well, there's a new kid in the block, every bit as good as the NX-2000, and in some ways, better. It's our long-term test Mazda MX-3, or as Mazda is calling it in Canada, the Precidia. Personally, I think I'll stick with MX-3. It's easier to say. There are two engine choices, a 1.6-liter multi-valve four-cylinder and this absolutely amazing 1.8-liter V6. Power output for the V6 is 130 horsepower at 6,500 RPM, and it's the smallest V6 engine on the market. Two transmissions are offered, a 5-speed manual and a 4-speed automatic, with Mazda's patented hold feature. Our test GS had the automatic, and aside from questioning the viability of the hold feature, I liked it. Fuel consumption for the V6 automatic is in the 11 liters per 100 kilometers range for city driving and 9 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway. And the base MX-3 four-cylinder starts at $13,500, and our test car has a sticker price of just under $18,000. Mazda's 3-year, 80,000-kilometer base warranty comes with the MX-3. Although small, this V6 is powerful and torquey enough to handle an automatic transmission, which can't be said of the four-banger. Mazda really pulled off a minor coup with this engine. Who would have thought a V6 under 2 liters was even possible, let alone this versatile? On the other hand, it's not really that surprising considering Mazda's background with a Wankel rotary. A well-tuned multi-valve four-cylinder can match the V6 in terms of revving power, but it has a much deeper reserve of passing power and a very lively mid-range. As you would expect, the MX-3 also has a high tossability factor. It's very nimble, with a superb sense of balance and exceptional handling and braking. The V6 GS version comes with 4-wheel disc brakes, the four-cylinder with front disc rear drum, and you can order ABS. The MX-3 is one of the most enjoyable cars to drive we've had on driver's seat, and if I had to compare it with the NX-2000, I wouldn't want to pick a winner either way. But in terms of styling, the MX-3 has the edge. I think this is the best-looking compact sports coupe on the road, even if it is actually a hatchback. If you look closely, you can see that the top of the door matches the headlights in terms of styling. Neat. It is kind of a long way to go to reach bottom in the rear storage area, but there's plenty of room, 8.4 cubic feet. But one fairly serious drawback is lack of headroom. Backseat passengers will find it particularly claustrophobic, and tall drivers are going to find the MX-3 a snug fit. Side and rear visibility is affected because of this, and backing the car up is kind of awkward. Mazda has a history of restrictive headroom in their models, and the MX-3 is no exception. They also have a history of making affordable, fun, compact sports cars, and again, the MX-3 is no exception. Mazda's competition in this market segment is stiff. The Nissan NX is a serious rival, and so is the Toyota Presso. Also worth considering are the Hyundai Scoop, Suzuki Swift GT, Isuzu Impulse, Geostorm GSI, and Volkswagen Golf GTI. I give it a driving dollar value of a full tank, Tony. I like this car an awful lot.
Well, I agree right the way down the line. I think this is by far the best looking car in the group, and there's nothing wrong with the NX-2000. It's a wonderful machine in every way, but this looks better, and to me it just is more of a piece. When I originally tested one of these in Europe, of all places, for a Japanese car to be first tested, I parked one alongside a Ferrari 348, and you know, it didn't look out of place there. It was the same color, it looked almost like the same stable.
Yeah, you know, that little V6 engine, at the risk of belaboring a point, I just can't express how much I like that engine. They've done a beautiful job on it. I mean, it's only this big. It's a tiny little thing. Yet the power coming out of it and the fuel economy, this is the best V6 of this size, the only one in the world right now.
There's no question. It's a bold move, really, because generally speaking, people don't ask for sophistication like that and smoothness in this type of car. You know, they're quite happy with a noisy 16-valve 4. This transforms the car. It's wonderful. It's okay with the 4, but this is a really beautiful little motor.
Yeah, one thing I should point out, that when you buy a car in this category, you give up rear visibility. Backing the car up, as you saw, is very, very bad. You cannot see out the peripheral visibility, and there's blind spots out the sides.
Well, that's true. I think that it should be understood that the people these cars are aimed at young singles, really, and couples and so forth, and they don't really need any room in the back. It's a place to throw your squash kit or something like that. There really isn't very much room in the back. I was surprised you even tried to get in there, Ted. It was a bold move.
And that styling cue of where the side window curves like that to match the headlights, that's really a neat neat thing, you know, a small point, but the North Americans would never think of that.
No, the car looks great. I mean, there's certainly got no North American competition, and it's the best of what is offered either in Europe, where you can buy cars that is like this, like the Calibra Opel, which we don't get here. It's very, very expensive and so forth, but this is great. It's affordable. It's a great effort by Mazda.
It's amazing how good the cars are getting coming out of Japan these days, stylistically, if nothing else. This is one of the most beautiful cars around, and if it had a Ferrari badge on it, if Ferrari was in this market, it would cost 10 times what it costs.
That's quite so. Well, the only knock against it from my standpoint is that it's a little bit Spartan inside. Now, I don't mind that myself, but in the old days, you seem to get more equipment in a car like this.
And very true. Anyway, time now for red light, green light. What I don't like about the car is the headroom is very bad, even for me. Visibility up the side, terrible. Rear storage, not much there, really. On the other hand, styling, as I say, this is a wonderful looking car. Performance, you can't beat it with a stick. Drivability, right up there. Driving dollar value, full tank. This is one hell of a car.
What can I do to agree with that? We'll be right back.